Kartik. Welcome on this show. We are
Hi,
going
hi.
to do a roving discussion regarding life, money, about financial literacy, and things like that. But before I start that, let me just introduce you to the audience. So now I know Kartik Sharma for the past 20 years, and he has been a media professional. He has worked in the advertising industry for a very long time. I think he has a long list of companies. I mean, marquee companies where he has worked, like Ogilvy and Lintas and WPP, various companies. Last 10 years, he has been a CEO, MD and CEO of a couple of media companies. He was for the past 6 years, for 6 years or so, he was the CEO of Wavemaker, and from 2020 onwards, he has been the Group CEO of Omnicom Media Group in India. So welcome, Karthik. We hope to have a good discussion here, and I want to pick your brains and understand about what can I say about life itself. What is the purpose of life? I mean, I keep talking about money all the time. I want to know what is the purpose of life, and for you, where does money figure in that? I think life and money are very much interrelated, interconnected. I want to know your thoughts on the connection between life and money.
Yeah. Firstly, thank you for inviting me, Suresh. Good day to you and to all your viewers, listeners. Uh, I think at a base level, money is very important. So I think everyone will agree. It's a way in which we transact, get on to our day-to-day life, and do whatever we want to do. But to your larger question of what is purpose in life, uh, that question itself starts only when your basic money issues often are taken care of. Uh, in a since I come from the advertising background, there's a very popular Maslow's need hierarchy theory where there are basic food and clothing and other orders going up to self-actualization. Very much purpose broadly follows that. While there are lots of definitions of purpose, lots of interesting leaders have spoken about it, my practical answer to it is the ultimate purpose of life is something which gives you whatever you want to do in life, gives you a deep sense of satisfaction and brings in both happiness and harmony very, very internally. Uh, that takes a lot of time for people to realize because people start and my own journey, if I were to tell you, it always started like, want to earn a salary, take care of yourself, family. It's been very typical of any other person in India, any part of the world. And to understand that money is not the only thing. Money is very important. I won't say money, it gets you, it sorts out a lot of your potential issues in life,
Yeah.
but that is not the ultimate thing. There are many examples of within friend circle, observations that we have done that people have a lot of money and they're still somewhere not deeply happy. And
Right.
they call it various names. Probably even some of them even get into, and I'm not saying it's a necessary condition and all, but that tends to happen. There's a sense of not achieving something which tends to eat you. So the deep level of satisfaction, and these satisfaction may not necessarily come from the professions that we work.
Yeah.
So a doctor may not necessarily be deeply satisfied by looking at a patient, but he or she may like to paint, and that might give some deep sense of satisfaction. So the human brain is not a linear mind, as we all know. We all have our own peculiarities, and for me, the ultimate purpose for life where I am today. But the answer would have changed over the years of time. If this interview had happened 10 years ago, my answer would have been very different.
Yeah.
And probably 10 years from now, my answer may be very different. But today, where I am sitting, I think purpose of life is a deep sense of satisfaction, happiness, harmony. And second layer for me, this is very personal. If we can do something for the society in whatever big or small way, that will give me a lot of satisfaction. And the enabler to do some of these things for you to be happy is where somewhere importance is money. it is not the only thing, because there will be a point in time where, let's say you are a hypothetical case, you're sitting with piles of money, but nobody around you. Would you, loneliness itself will kill you, or zero social interaction will probably kill you.
Correct.
And while you may physically live a longer life, given the modern things happening in medical science, but mentally, how do you know what is happening inside the human being's mind? So purpose in life is somewhere, it's very personal. Each one will have to find it. It'll take time. Uh, but if you can get into the space of, happiness, which is just beyond money, right? There's a deep sense of satisfaction. So like when I go to office, I want to be, yes, there will be a bunch of challenges, problems, but when you come back, you can be deeply be satisfied every day. And for years together, you may be very dissatisfied. Both I have seen in my own journey. There have been periods of my life where, yes, maybe I've got promotion, this thing, but somewhere lacking on satisfaction. And there have been much shorter period, maybe as small as a day, where you feel deeply satisfied. So the human mind goes through all these, but in the long term, for me, a sense of purpose, right? You want to do something, and which is very individual. My purpose may be very different compared to somebody else.
Yeah.
That is the what I think about more purpose, and therefore money becoming an enabler for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I normally keep saying that money is important in life, but life is not all about money. I mean, in another sense, that is exactly what you have said. So the other thing I think we will all have to focus on. I mean, a lot of us treat the purpose. Sometimes the purpose will mesh with what we are doing in our waking hours, which is essentially our day job. And sometimes that may give the money, but not necessarily feed into the purpose. So I've seen so many people like that. And I think a lot of times I feel that, I mean, these two have to mesh with each other. So if somebody is deeply an artist at heart, okay, and they are not really very happy with their day job. So that lady is, let us say, doing some work in some organization which is of no meaning to her. So what do you feel in that context? I mean, how does one mesh the purpose along with what one wants to do for the greater part of one's life?
So this is a tough one. It's not a easy question. Uh, See, there probably my answer would be that, see, let's say you are very fortunate to do all the passion and other real purpose for life, which is very different than what a societal or society believes that you should do, for which you will need some form of financial freedom. So tomorrow, let's say, uh, I want to become a singer 24 by 7. I may not be a hugely big one, but that's something I want to pursue, whatever it takes. And which means 9 to 10 hours of practice, not focusing on anything. And I'm willing to do that. My willingness to do that will only happen when my household is taken care of,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
which money
correct,
becomes very important.
correct.
And there one has to be financially be independent. How fast you become, and there any person who starts working or doing own business very early in life, this journey of uh, your field, financial planning, the faster we do that, the awareness should be there. I may not be a genius at doing finance, but I should have a good awareness, or I should take the help of professionals like you. And then I can do many more things probably much faster, not at the age of, maybe there's no right age to do your passion. But let's say at the age of 40, I want to do. And if I started my investing and other journey, financial planning journey at the age of 20, there's a very high chance I can do in 40.
Yeah.
But if I've not done that, maybe even till 60 or 65, it will still be a struggle. So they are in a way intertwined. One takes care of, you don't have to worry about how do I pay my bills. Now I have to practice 8 hours of music. I have to give up something else, right? I can't go to office. I have to give up my job. I cannot interact. If that is the, I'm obviously talking extreme case of someone wanting to dedicate their life, but then the money problem still has to be sorted out. You can't wish it away. It's not going to, nobody is going to come and pay your bill.
Correct.
right?
So you are saying that achieving financial freedom in life will come first, and then finding the purpose or what you really want to do will come next. Yeah,
Mentally, they can coexist. It
yeah,
is not necessarily one after the other. Mentally, they can coexist, but you need a plan definitely. Whether you are wanting to achieve the purpose, definitely you need some finances to run your household, right? At the bare minimum.
correct.
Uh, will have however simple life one may want to lead. There are still some bills to be paid, right? There may be a
Absolutely.
rent, there may be electricity. That is not going to go away. There are some taxes, there may be some other household expenses. That needs to be sorted out in some form.
Correct.
And by and large, people don't seem today at least there is a lot more awareness. But when I started my journey along with you, and you played an important role, 20, 25 years back, there was no knowledge. We were just earning some money. We put some money in. Whoever came to us, some insurance guy would come and he will say. So if we created awareness, I think it's very important, not only for professionals like you who are doing a fabulous job and writing great books, which I've read twice, and which I would strongly recommend for all listeners. If God was a financial planner, which everyone should read. Those type of books will bring awareness, but more importantly, my own behavior and
Correct.
doing the right things, being disciplined. Actually, wealth creation in this become therefore important. You cannot say I will not be focused on it. I don't need to be a multi-billionaire, but I need to have reasonable amount of money. The
Yeah.
second reality which is there is possibly this generation is going to outlive some of the previous generations because of advancement in medical sciences.
Yeah.
And if one were to live, let's say 80 or 90, and you don't have earning power, what do? You need to still pay your bills. The bills are going to keep coming. So they are intertwined, and then you can start thinking about purpose whenever you want. Earlier the better. For some people, it takes time. That's also fine because these are not like some playbooks. What works for one may not work for other. So
Absolutely.
I'm not suggesting a playbook, but it's very individual. Like personal finance is very personal.
Yeah.
Purpose is also very personal.
Correct.
But people have to be. There will be a point in everybody's life when people go through this. They may not call it purpose. They may call it. I've seen that struggle happening within me and around me.
Yeah, so one thing which you mentioned earlier on, I think that's very, very important for all of us to understand. You said maybe I have not thought about a purpose at the mental level. I mean, earning money and the purpose. I mean, at least that can coexist, even though I'm not financially independent at that particular point. So, and then the purpose will actually come to the limelight, and probably you'll start pursuing purpose more, far more than money itself. So I think that's a very, very important thing. A lot of people tend to think that, okay, how can I have my purpose if money portion is not? I think both of them has the space to coexist. So that is what you very rightly
Right.
mentioned. So that's a very, very good thing. Another shifting gears, I want to also understand from you. I mean, has there been any money script or anything that you have learned from your parents or people around you I mean, growing up years? Is there any money script that you have learned? I mean, I have had a money script through my father, which said that I mean, save now so that your tomorrows can be better. So something to that effect.
No, so it's not been as dramatic as your dad would have said, but coming from a typical South Indian family, uh, the investments which my parents did was, say, the good old FD,
Correct.
and that's about it. Maybe some savings bank account or RD or something. Those were the instruments. Uh, Buying a house was big. It was considered something epic if you could buy that. Beyond that, nobody thought of it. Uh, but once I started earning, and when I got when I started looking at people around me, many of them, this is let's say the late 90s. A lot of people around me were actually uh, betting, I would say, on the stock market. So I had a lot of friends around me who say, "Oh, buy this share, buy that share." I had no clue why they bought it, and there was this lot of bravado. I made some $5,000, $10,000, where our salary was not there, and
Yeah.
maybe they had some formula. I had none. So my awakening on the financial journey honestly happened only when I kind of first met you. I met with a lot of probably sitting on the fence, even thinking, why is this meeting so important, to a huge transformation in my life over the last 20 years. And I all credits to you.
Thank
And
you.
I've personally seen the power of compounding, which has played an important role. And three, four lessons, therefore, which I will distill for the benefit for whoever is listening. Start as early as possible.
Hmm.
You can start at 15, start at 15 if you can start at 16. As a parent, please, whoever is a parent listening here, talk about money with your kids very early. Don't say it is not important. It is extremely important to know asset classes. What does it do? Even though you may not be a super specialist, and that's fine. Not talking about money does not make things better for anybody. In fact, it probably worsens it off. Third is also involve every person, relevant person in the family, including, so if you're a guy maybe who's married, involve your wife, and which is important because a lot of women, I still feel, while they understand it, they don't want to participate actively, and that's not helping. So it's good to have counterpoints of view. Uh, and then start early, and do be very disciplined and do the boring stuff, which means whatever the equation that all the financial gurus like yourself have said is income minus savings is expenses, not income minus expenses savings. So if you follow that paradigm, I think you can start as small as $1,000 or $500, and it will keep growing. The power of compounding, I'm a live example of how my own journey working with you and your team has been. It's phenomenal. The power of compounding, to grasp it, takes 10, 12 years. When it hits you saying, hey, this is what has happened. Once the portfolio reaches a certain level, the magic of compounding actually begins much later. And unless you do it, it will sound very theoretical. Having done it, seen it myself, and the benefits I can only see that so once the base becomes reasonably large, suppose somebody's portfolio is today, let's say, 5 crores of rupees. A small change on a 5 crore is still a large number.
Yeah. Correct.
Right. So if I say 1% change, 1% change in 5 crore is still a large number for a type of people that we are talking about. We are talking here about people who are probably in a job or doing their own gig, uh, looking for monthly income in some form, paying the taxes, very compliant. So that's the audience. If that is the audience which is listening, which is my hunch, it is. All you to do is to get to that base as quickly, whatever that base may be, 5 crore, 2 crore, 1 crore, 10 crore, 100 crore. It is possible. And the other thing is become mathematically savvy, as in just run spreadsheets, simple spreadsheets. No complicated formula. The only formula for wealth building we all learned in standard 5, standard 6 is the compounding formula. If we know that formula, we can average person can beat the geniuses. There are many portfolios of geniuses. All we know in that formula is, I still remember my base math, A equal to P of 1 plus R by 100 to the power n. The question is to the power n, not R. We all fret over the R and we forget the power n. Power n is exponential. So the more time you give, the secret is there in front of our eyes. Somebody has actually invented the formula. We just have to give it sufficient time. I think of money in a slightly different way. I think of it like I'm watering a plant every day, every week. I put some seeds, I water it, it becomes a small shrub. Hopefully, I want it to become a big tree. Some may not, but most of it eventually will outlive all of us, will become a huge tree. If you think that and you keep watering, you don't worry how big that tree is. keep watering, it's going to become a gigantic tree. So I think doing the basics of that right will take away the pressure of what you really love, your passion points, your purpose. So they are always interlinked. Most people don't sort out the money problem, and so neither are they able to sort out money problem, nor they are able to sort out purpose. So they are confused.
So, Karthik, I'm going to come back to you again on the purpose only. A lot of times, like you said, I mean, money problem is not sorted, so the purpose is you cannot find, and vice versa, right? So, again, see, there is a very peculiar thing also sometimes in life. If you have made your money, but you have not found your purpose, which is, I mean, I see a lot of them in that space. So they find that making money and making that money grow is their purpose. I mean, it's a very, very curious thing, but I mean, if you know, if I'm sure you would have been approached by a lot of people. There are a lot of these wealth managers who come and talk. I mean, they say that you're a ultra HNI. I mean, I will help you grow your money much more than what it grows for a normal person. I mean, if a person already has 300, 500 crores, I mean, why is it so important to take much, much more risk? Yeah, I mean, they can take more risk, no problem. Why is it so very important to take so much risk and grow? I mean, so I think it is because there is no purpose. And where do we draw the line? So, I mean, that is very, very important for all of us to know. I think we have to draw the line somewhere and find the purpose and achieve, like you said. I mean, you have to achieve that peace, your that satisfaction in life of having achieved something.
Honestly, there is no easy answer or easy solve for this. I've thought about this problem, and I think some of it you can learn by observation, but some of it is the way one is wired, right? All the things the Almighty has given all of us. It's a part answer of how because if everyone becomes purpose driven, then nobody will consume. That's the other side of the school, right? Why will consumption happen? So when you do not have purpose, you chase what you think is the purpose, which others will tell you. The problem is other is telling you, right? That wealth manager or whatever, he's coming and telling you. That itself to me is a problem. Purpose is very internal, right? If someone has to tell me my purpose, I can take inspiration from a lot of people, but I have to find it myself. So it's like 20,000 things are in front of me. I have to choose what I want, which is a deeply very personal process and with a lot of conviction. This is something I want to do. I really, really want to do something which resonates with me. The world may not, nobody may be behind you. Nobody may want to do it. You still have to pursue it. That to me often does not happen because people are not thinking in a holistic sense of what they want to achieve out of life. And those things, if you had to go really say maybe 100 years when our grandparents were there, I keep wondering, they had larger families, very less income. They seem to be, and in some cases I know they were, because conversations have happened. They seem to be far more living a life full of purpose and happiness. While this generation, mine included, while we are in a position to earn more money than that generation, we are struggling because the compass or the map to get to that is still not clear. The part answer to that, I don't know whether I'm qualified enough to give the full answer. I believe lies in the religious scriptures. Part answer to that, and each one can find their meaning out of it. That's my hunch. Uh, because many things, as you go deeper, you find actually it was all there. We never spent time. Many of our religious scriptures have been caricaturized into some comics and books and all that, which is a sad part. The real text one was to read, let's say any of the good scriptures. I think a lot of the answers start coming in, and probably that's why older people, when they're kind of more retired and all that, they have the time, they start reading it. The other problem is today the amount of what I call lack of attention. The biggest problem today in our life is this. We are constantly wanting to see something, listen to something, we feel fish out of water. For 5 minutes, there has not been a WhatsApp message. Something must be fundamentally going.
Yeah.
I think we need to calm down. And I think things like listening to high quality music or meditation, all this play a very, very important role, which is what our forefathers had already told us. But we have over that period ignored it. Some people follow it. Uh, most people have ignored it. We are constantly wanting to see some new, something has to keep happening. Otherwise, the mind, the attention, we are a super attention deficient society, not just society, global society, I would say. It's there everywhere. Whichever country you go, everyone is, nobody is listening. There is a restlessness. You get, there is and I'm not saying other, I'm perfect. Even I'm like this. There is a sense of, irritability which happens. Get on with it. Why do I need to listen to a 1 hour lecture? Can you tell me in 2 minutes? Book reading, the classic thing is I love to read books, as you know. I find it extremely difficult to read more than 4 or 5 pages these days. So I'm trying to get back and say, can I read 10 pages? Can I increase? Because the mind is constantly, the monkey mind is jumping around. Something must be happening around us, right? Uh, that's a problem. I don't know what the solution is, but maybe meditation, maybe other things, maybe dialing it down. Uh, those are the reasons why I think we keep running around. To your question on whether it's 300, 500, it just then becomes a race of a different order. Because see, the human mind is still wanting something, but it cannot translate into purpose. So it is put one numerical number. Okay, 500, now 700, 800. Then it just keeps going.
Yeah, exactly. So as when we talk about purpose, I mean, you want to prove to yourself, probably not for others. You want to prove to yourself that you are still, I mean, somebody doing something worthwhile. Okay. And
Right.
if you have not found any other purpose, like you said earlier on in this conversation, you said, I want to do something for the society. Okay. So that
Yes.
can be philanthropic, or that can be maybe part philanthropy, part actually giving your time, or maybe
Yeah.
only giving your time. It can be any of those. And if it is
Yes.
deeply meaningful for you and you're very happy spending that time, then this obsession about money will kind of wane away. So
Yeah. Yeah.
one of the things which I think all of us will have to find. I mean, you of course told about the monkey mind. So that is one of the problems that we are facing today. Okay, attention deficit syndrome is endemic today with all of us. So I mean, so one of the thing is we really want to fill our life with something. So like you said, if for 5 minutes there is no ting that sound, then I'm kind of rattled. I mean, nobody seems to want to talk to me. Nobody seems to want to communicate to me. That kind of a feeling. And that
Yeah.
happens if we don't have a deep sense of purpose. We want to go somewhere. We want to achieve something. I think,
Yeah.
I mean, from whatever I'm hearing you, I'm just extrapolating that. I'm saying that I think we will all have to ultimately find a sense of purpose. Otherwise, in spite of whatever amount of money that we have, it's going to sound hollow. It's going to kind of look hollow to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it will come in various manifestation. When in your growing up years, you may not realize it. When more closer to when you are wanting to either dial down a bit or retire or whatever, or not work as intensely as in your earlier years, these questions start popping up. Because again, going back, some of the basic money problems are all sorted out. The
Yeah,
bills are being paid. So they will always coexist. So money on one side, this on one side. But if purpose suddenly becomes important, money is not there, then your mind will stop this and again search for money. So we
correct.
have to get the balance.
Correct.
Absolutely.
No, no, absolutely fine. So this is very, very helpful. I mean, I wanted to basically talk to you more than money and life, and basically the purpose and how do we really look at money in the context of today's existence. And you have talked about all the facets here. In fact, all the things you have neatly you have talked about the power of compounding, the n in the equation. You have talked about that. You have talked about involving the spouse. You have talked about talking with children regarding money. So I mean, all the things which we typically talk to our clients, I think you have neatly in this small conversation, you have neatly, you have put that bullet on that. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, Karthik. This is, I think, very, very helpful. Personally, again, I keep thinking about purpose all the time. It's a very refreshing thought from your side in terms of purpose, how you think. So this is very, very helpful. I hope it will be very helpful for those people who are listening in. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Karthik.
Thank
Good.
you. Thanks to you. Thanks to all the listeners. Hope some of my experiences, all of you will be able to gain something at least.
Yeah,
And thanks
sure.
for giving the opportunity to, share my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.